Hello, everyone. Let's see. Are we good? Are we connecting? Let's see. Let's just wait to everybody. How's everyone doing? It's been a long time. And I hope you are all doing well. And I just want to take this opportunity to personally thank you, everyone who prayed for me. I had been through some little minor stuff. I truly appreciate everyone's prayers out there, and absolutely, prayer works, right? So continue to pray, and also wanted to send prayer and well wishes to everyone who's currently dealing with physically or mentally or whatever it is that you're going through. Pray that all will be well. And hello, Michael. It's been a couple weeks. I hope all is well with you.
Yeah, I haven't seen you in forever.
I
But
know.
yes, yeah, all is well with me. I'm great. I'm fantastic. I'm still excited. You know, um, this is awesome.
Yeah, it's been like forever. I'm so happy that we are able to come back and do this because I love it. It's every Monday when we get together. We get to talk about Unpassive. We get to talk about um, the questions that at the very beginning, our CEO even asked himself, and all the people that coming into Unpassive, the questions that we always ask is, how can we, right? Whether or not individually, a group of people, how can we contribute more into more values to the world and the people that involved in it? And that is a question I believe that when our CEO, Mr. Ashmufara, and all the people that coming in together in Unpassive, asking ourselves, how can Unpassive contribute more value to the world and the people and its users? And so today, Michael and I wanted to get together and talking about on passive, the real value, the valuable, the whatever it is that all of us getting together and share and talk about on passive and talk what are the values of on passive. So that's a topic, Michael,
Mm,
and I believe this topic we can sit all day and talk, and
Oh, of course.
it's never ended.
No, that's if we're going to talk about real value. That's something that we could be here for hours upon hours discussing because there is so much. You know, I think a lot of people when they join a business, all they see is, you know, how much money am I going to make? When am I going to make the money? And that's it. Like in any business, right? Not just on passive, like any business. When people join, that's all that's on their mind. That's all they're focused on. And then you wonder why so many people don't succeed, right? Is not that you shouldn't, have a focal point as far as making money. Not that people shouldn't. Of course, that's why you go into a business. That's why people, start business and so on. Um, but you have to understand what's underneath that. The money's kind of like the end result, right? That's why when we talk about Capmo, the money's at the end of that, right? And so it's the same thing. So I think when people start to understand the underlying it, right, the value, right, there has to be real value there, Julie, right? Like if I want to, start a business to go sell product XYZ, if there's no value in that product, like no one's going to buy it. Like they're just not, you may have, one or two people here and there, but if you want something that's truly lasting, something that's going to, transcend generations after generations, like you have to have something where there's real value there. And I think, as we go through our discussion today, hopefully some of that will come out so people can see that on passive is the real deal. Because people should know this by now, Julie, but unfortunately, there's some that are still, scratching their head, wondering, which it just doesn't make sense to me. If you fell in love with On Passive at some point in your journey, then you should not fall out of love with it at any point. You understand me? Because it's the real thing. You know what I mean? People talk about real love, right? If you really have love for someone, you never fall out of love with them. You may have disagreements. You know what I mean? You may have your ups and downs. You may have challenges. You understand me? But if it's real love, true love, right? He'll be there until the day you die. That's why our CEO says, do it or die, because for him, it's all about real love, would translate into real value.
Yes, absolutely. And I love you brought that up because being an early bird in OnPassive, we get to witness from day one, from the very beginning, right? And what I've recognized in OnPassive is OnPassive has this very distinguished identity, right? That OnPassive is created with heart, where it benefits everyone that's involved. Michael, to me, when and I shared this with with our friend John White this morning, I said there are people out there that speaking and sharing to impress people, right? But there are people out there, and I have to say that what I am sharing and what I am speaking is hoping to make an impact in people, right? And I recognize that in OnPassive that we have a CEO every time that he is speaking, every time that he comes on and share what his sentimental feeling about what he's doing, it's really making an impact in people, in us, not to impress anybody, but to make an impact. And it is very important, that what we are sharing right now is based on what we see, based on what we believe, and we speak it in a way where we're hoping what we are sharing today will make an impact to the people that viewing, the people that watching.
Yeah, absolutely. Because we, all of us, come from some sort of background. We have some level of experience, right? Whether it's zero, level, 1, 2, 3, 5. We all have, some level of experience, right? And so we gauge our activity based upon those experiences that we've had along the way, right? And so when you've been around, Julie, and you've seen lots of different businesses come and go and all of that stuff, and then when you come across something that is completely different, like this is just like, this is not the norm, this is not how things have been done. Like that's what gets me excited, right, about OnPassive, because if it was the norm, Julie, if it was like everything else, then I already know what the result is going to be. I already know that 80%, 90% of the people that they're gonna fail anyways. You know what I mean? So when I see that it's different, when I see that this company, from everything, from the very beginning to where we are now, everything about this company is just not the norm. To go out there and to put yourself in different arenas, different industries, bring on high level support staff, the partnerships in various industries around the world, like to do all of what we see that the company is doing. You know what I mean? The care, the time, the energy that's going into our first paid product, O Connect. When we see everything, our ecosystem, Julie, when we look at everything that the company is doing and has done, it tells me, it signals that yes, this is it, because it's not like those other things out there. It's not like what we're used to. It's not like what we've been in before. And so because of that, that to me, that's good news, right? That tells me that, hey, we're onto something. This is it. This is what's going to allow so many people around the world to win, to finally win. That's important. Why? Because there's real value there. You know what I mean? How many companies that we see that come, say, hey, come on in, boom, 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 here's a compensation. And the compensation plan is just like the last company or similar to another company that we're familiar with. You know what I mean? Right? Or the products, it's just a Me Too product. They didn't put no time, no care, nothing went into it. They just grab a label, slap the name on the product and say, hey, here we go. This is what we have. This is our business. Like what is that? You know what I mean? That's why people keep failing, Julie, right? Mm-hmm. ONPASSIVE says there has to be a different way. There has to be a better way. And so we chose to go down that path to take people on this journey to show them what it's like to have real value in a company, right? So that you can have real value in your pocket, right? Because as I said, that pocket, your pocket, that's the end result. But to get there, all these things have to come before it. And all these things that comes before it is what we're talking about when we're talking about real value. You got to put value there, Julie. It has to be something that, someone says, you know what? Even if no one is going to compensate me, I'm willing to pay for that, right? Even if, there's no self-benefit per se, right? I'm going to share it with somebody else because I believe I'm giving them a gift. You know what I mean? Like that's the value that we're talking about, because for most people, it's always something, what's in it for me, right? So I'm only sharing this business with you, Julie, because I know I'm going to make $10 or $1 or $5 or whatever, right? I know there's something, you know what I mean? But with ONPASSIVE, I think a lot of us shared it with people because we actually believed that they're going to win no matter what. Just get in. You got to just come because this is different, right? And so if we go back to that, Julie, if we start to think about, why we first got in, right? And we start to, expand on that, right? Because that's what happened to us. We jumped in because, yeah, great business. We're going to make a lot of money. That's all fantastic. But then we start to see everything unfold before our eyes, and we fell in love with everything that this company is doing because we now become part of the solution where we're going to, correct the corruption that's out there in the marketplace. We are part of the solution that's going to actually help people in Papua New Guinea, people in India, people in Pakistan, people in America, people in the Caribbean, and all these places around the world, Julie, over 200 countries. We're going to be a part of that to actually make a real difference in people's lives. To me, that's exciting. Why wouldn't anyone want to be a part of that, Julie? That's what we're talking about when we say real value. We have to have a real impact, a positive impact on people's lives. And that's what ONPASSIVE is here for.
Absolutely, Michael. I am so confident and absolutely love it being part of ONPASSIVE as the early bird. I recognize the values and the culture of ONPASSIVE are so well defined through our CEO, our COO, our CMO, our CTO. There's so many people, like Professor Susan and Al, the strategist. I mean, there are so many people that I can put together. I recognize that values that I get to receive being part of the early bird of ONPASSIVE. And being able to witness all of that, and also being able to see the fact that ONPASSIVE is not a flimsy company that creates flimsy product and just put it out there and be done with it. We have been experiencing our very first paid product, O Connect, over 200 days that we going from the very first version to now the third part of it, and we have more functions, more benefits coming into it, but we didn't need to put more money out of it. And that's one of the example that of what I've listed. It's really the part of the values that I have received, and I'm very confident and absolutely love being part here in this space of ONPASSIVE, Michael.
But we see the progress, Julie. Like that's important to me. Like if we were stagnant, like if we were just standing still and there was no movement, right, in a positive direction, right, then I'll be concerned. I'll be like, wait a minute, what's going on? but we see the progress. We see the new website, Julie, right?
Oh,
Right? Like,
yeah.
you know, someone's creating that. Like, it didn't just poof out of thin air. You know what I mean? There's thought behind it, right? There's a lot that goes into it. Last night, I was on a webinar and we were talking about marketing, right? And talk about branding, and all of that. And as we kind of went just a little, not too deep, but we talk about search engine optimization, talked about CRM, customer relationship management. We touched on just branding as a whole and what it can do for a business and stuff like that we're talking about. And Julie, people have to understand there's a lot that goes into putting forth a successful company, right? Like Microsoft didn't just get up and pop up, hey, look, hey, we're a gazillion-dollar company. You know what I mean? Amazon, Apple. There's thought that goes into all of this. You know what I mean? We see what's going on with X. For those of you who on Twitter, right, formerly known as Twitter, we see what's going on. It's not simple. You know what I mean? Right? So we have to understand what it takes to actually make money. Most people are employees, they work for someone. So they don't understand what it takes to make money, right? You're earning money. You're exchanging your time, and the person says, okay, your time is worth so much, $10 an hour, 20 an hour, whatever, and they give that to you. You don't understand how to make money, right? There's a difference. Okay. Someone who's a business owner actually owns a business, put together a business plan, put together products, right? Service, whatever the case may be, whatever it is that they're offering to the marketplace, that person understands how to make money. When you see some commercials motivate you to actually take action. And other commercials like, what product are they even promoting? I didn't get it. You know what I mean? Some things go viral, right? Everybody on their YouTube and TikTok, right? And certain videos, why do certain videos go viral? You understand? There's something there that caused it. Remember that video that came out years ago? Charlie bit me, right? And it just went viral, right?
Viral.
I mean, it's an art and a science when it comes to bringing real value to the marketplace. That's why most companies will fail. But guess what? ONPASSIVE is still here. We haven't gone anywhere, Julie. We're still here since 2018. We're still here. How many companies have gone bankrupt, disappeared, scam people, whatever, just gone off the face of the earth since 2018 until now? ONPASSIVE is still here. Our CEO is still here. You understand me? The vast majority of founders, early birds, we're still here. So many of us are still excited. You understand me? There's a reason for that because we see the value, Julie. We understand what this thing can do for you and for your loved ones. We understand it, right? We support it. We encourage it, right? We're all for it. We lock arms with our CEO because we know that he has put us on a path that only leads to success, only leads to success. So that's why for me, it's not, well, what happened? What is happening? Like, that's nonsense talk. You know what I mean? Everything is right there in front of us. We can log into our ecosystem. We can see everything that is there. We can see the progress if we go set up a webinar on O Connect. You know what I mean? We can see the difference between O Connect, 3 months ago versus O Connect today. We can see the difference. We can see the difference between O Connect 6 months ago than today. You understand, Julie? You can see that. And that's just within the product itself, right? But there's so much more. And when we fully get that, Julie, then we understand the real value, and then you treasure it just like a pearl. Like you treasure it. You treasure this business because this is the only business that exists right now. It's the only business that exists right now that's going to do more for you and your family, right? Than anything that you can come up with. It really is. And that's why I love it, Julie. Right? Because it makes sense. If it didn't make any sense, why would I still be here? Why would you be here, Julie? Why will so many others be here? Why would people come, even just to watch this live that we're doing right now, to hear our discussion. Like, why? You know what I mean? Because it makes sense. There's real value there, because if there wasn't any real value, you're not going to make any money. You understand me? It just doesn't work that way, folks. Try to understand, try to get a little deeper into ONPASSIVE and understand what it's really about and how it's possible. How is it possible to be able to have a complete automated business, right? That's going to give you, they don't just say, well, here's a business. Okay, now go build it. Here's the traffic that's going to help you build it, right? That is key, right? And not just any traffic, targeted traffic meaning people that are looking for what you have. So if OConnect is your product, you're going to have people that's looking for a webinar conference platform, right? If the product is OTracker, again, we're talking about people coming that are looking to be able to analyze their activity on the internet, analyze, their marketing, their advertising, different campaigns that they have, right? To be able to see where people are coming from, who are the best source of visitors, etc. All these things are important. But for the regular person looking on the surface, Julie, all that's important to them is opening their pocket and saying, okay, where's my money? Right? They're looking in their pocket but the money can't just come to you like that, though. You have to be able to put out something that makes sense, something that's going to provide real value to the market. And then sales are generated from that, Julie. And then you see the money going into your pocket. Simple.
Absolutely. Talking about money, talking about we are still here. How many of us remember 2 years ago and one day, 2 years ago, a few of us get to witness ONPASSIVE launched in Dubai. I have to confess that without being there, without being ONPASSIVE, I would not have known there's a Burj Khalifa, okay? That's real. I mean, when it happened, I'm like, oh my gosh, there is something magnificent like that out there. And we get to be part of it. Having the physical locations around the world, physical infrastructure around the world. If you're on our website right now, onpassive.com, you got to go down and take a look at the moving globe. And you're going to see bright stars on there. Imagine every country will have that bright star on there. So check it out. And what is it? What I'm just saying here that it's of values to me is, Michael, I have a business that built all together and have all of that physical location around the world, and I get to be part of it. Where do I have the financial? Where do I have the power to be able to do that? Nowhere. Individually, I don't think I even be able to do that, right? This business that we are in with ONPASSIVE, with this magnitude, with this power, has locations around the world. And it's not out of my pocket. But I can proudly say that, yes, we have offices around the world.
Julie, real value, how many people can actually market something, right? How many people, can actually advertise, promote a product, right? And get results, positive results, right? Like, how many people can actually do that? It's not a lot of people. It just isn't, right? There are a lot of people out there that sell life insurance, as an example, right? And most of them are not good at it, right? You understand me? If you have a life insurance agent, chances are, give them a couple of years and they're no longer in the industry. They move on to something else, right? You go to the car dealership and this is the person that you bought your car from. You go back 3-4 years later to buy another vehicle. That person is no longer there. You understand? This company ONPASSIVE understands that. They understand the mindset. They understand what it takes to actually put something together that will trigger a sale, right? Put something together where someone says, yes, I want to buy. Because a lot of buying is about emotions, right? A lot of buying is about emotions, right? There's psychology behind it and so on, right? That's why when a company wants to put out a commercial, like they don't just put something in and say, okay, let's run with it. They have to test it, right? They have to say, okay, let's put this in front of 1,000 people. Let's see how they respond, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? And then so they go. A company wants to come up with a new product, same thing. Let's put this product in the hands of a few people, say 1,000 or so, okay, and see how they respond to it, etc. And so we know whether we have something that even makes sense to actually go to the marketplace with, right? So there's a lot that goes on, Julie. That's just my thing. There's a lot that goes on that most of us are not privy to. We don't get it. We don't understand it. And that's fine. If you're a teacher, okay, well, you know how to teach, right? But do you know how to give legal advice, right? You know what I mean? You're not a lawyer, right? So I'm not going to go to you, Julie, even though you may be a doctor, to get any legal advice. I'm sorry. You know what I mean? I'm going to go find a lawyer, right? And get the advice from that individual. ONPASSIVE is putting out professional pieces, right? When we watch some of these videos, Julie, people need to get on the YouTube, the official YouTube channel for ONPASSIVE and check out some of those videos. People need to go to the corporate side and check out the blog, check out all the information that's there. These are some powerful stuff, Julie. I saw some videos last night and I was like, wow, I was impressed. You know what I mean? If people understand and see what this company is doing step by step, yeah, it may not be ready in the time in your mind that you had. Well, I thought it would have been good 2 years ago. I thought I was going to be a millionaire in 30 seconds. Like, what happened? You know what I mean? The point is that the progress is there and it takes time to create that real value, right? If it didn't take time to create real value, Julie, then everybody would be a multimillionaire, right? It's as simple as that. Every company that comes out will still be around today. You know what I mean? There's a couple of companies I'm associated with that has been around for over 20 years, still around. Okay, why? Because of what they provide to the marketplace. You know what I mean? And yet, as I said, we know so many companies, 6 months gone, 3 months gone, maybe a year gone. And here we are since 2018. There's a reason, Julie. There is a reason why people are still in love with ONPASSIVE, still in love with them, because there's something that's holding you, right? There's something that's keeping you there. You understand me? And no one is paying you, right? No one is paying you to say positive things about the company, right? That's not it. You know what I mean? There is some real value that is there that is holding you. And for each person, it may be something different. You know what I mean? It may be something different. We know that people have formed relationships, Julie. That's also real value, because I treasure my relationships, especially those that are really close to me. I treasure that, right? I don't have a gazillion people that are, in my inner circle, if you wish. You know what I mean? So those who are, I treasure that. I treasure that, I treasure our relationship, Julie. You know what I mean? So when we see ONPASSIVE, it's not just financial, because the financial part is taken care of. If there's one thing people get from our discussion today, is to know that because there's real value in ONPASSIVE, the financial part of it is taken care of. It is a done deal. Just trust me, it's a done deal. That part is taken care of. Okay? You're gonna be fine. Now, do you have the fortitude, right? Do you have the strength? Do you have the deep desire to see it through, knowing that success is at the end of the line? Do you have that? Do you see in ONPASSIVE something that's actually going to benefit the globe? Do you see that? Because if you see these things, Julie, then you get excited as I get when I started talking about ONPASSIVE. Because for me, it's all about helping people. For me, it's all about how many lives can we touch in a positive way before you leave this earth? How many? You know what I mean? That's important to me, right? I want to make sure that my family's taken care of beyond measure. That's important to me, right? I want to make sure my extended family, beyond my community, you know what I mean? Teams that my kids are a part of, right? Be able to assist where you can, help other people by pulling them up. All these things are important, Julie. I don't like going out there on the road and then you see a homeless person and the person begging. Now, whether it's a real situation, it's not for me. I don't know. I don't know if it's real or not, Julie. But the point is, I don't like seeing it. Can it be avoided? Of course it can. We can do a lot better than what we're doing right now. We can. We can help a lot more people than what we're helping right now. We can. ONPASSIVE is that vehicle that's going to allow us to do just that. Because deep inside of people, I believe that there's goodness there that people would love to be able to, reach out and help. You know what I mean? You're going to Walmart, you're coming out, they're asking you for money, right? You need money yourself, but they're asking you for money. You know what I mean? And people give. We see the commercials and people support this charity and that charity, this church or religious, organization, whatever, right? This association, that foundation, right? People give, Julie. So if ONPASSIVE can help you be in a position where money is no longer an issue so that you can give and give and give of yourself, right? Give of yourself. That's what this company is. It's putting us in a position because maybe you have a talent, Julie. Maybe you have a gift. And by using the O Connect platform, by using the O Academy platform, you understand? Being able to teach people, being able to help people's lives become better, right? Imparting knowledge to people that maybe they didn't have. Like you said, if it wasn't from ONPASSIVE, you didn't know nothing but no Burj Khalifa, right? You're not the only one. You understand me? And there's a lot more information that people have received just by being in ONPASSIVE. That's real value. People have become a better version of themselves because they're in ONPASSIVE. You understand me? People have become more compassionate because of ONPASSIVE. And the list goes on and on and on. The money part is done deal. You don't need to worry about that. But that comes at the end. You know what I mean? Comes at the end. Put all the pieces together and then poof, now you have a license to print money, right? That, folks, it's the real deal. The real deal.
Absolutely. Michael, there's cause and effect in this world. Everything that we are doing, everything has cause and effect. In order for us to be able to have all the money that we ever need, we have to take actions to get there. In order for the products to work flawlessly, we have to build it. We have to go through testing. We have to do all that in order for us to have products work flawlessly. In order for us to have the company that's built strong, we have to have the people. We have to have the foundation. There's cause and effect, right? In order for us to have a super unicorn and chubby unicorn baby, there has to be time to actually make it, creating it together, right? So there's cause and effect. In order for us to enjoy our business, we have to stay on top of it. We have to put in our effort into that process. That journey is so much more satisfying, and at the end, the money, like you said, is a result of all the hard work that is putting in. And how many of us putting in the kind of work like the people in ONPASSIVE, like the team, like our CEO? I mean, there's cause and effect. So the things that we do, I always say with my children is, whatever that you do, there's always the consequences that comes with it, either the good consequences or the negative. So every decision that we make, like what I'm saying earlier today, I said, whatever we are saying, speaking, whatever that we are we doing it just to impress someone? Or are we actually doing it to impact people's life? And ONPASSIVE is here and giving us that opportunity. We can do that our own life. Without ONPASSIVE, we can do that. But the magnitude, the impact, is it as big or as satisfying as we are doing with ONPASSIVE? And like you said, I am happy and I'm grateful that I have this gem, this treasure of ONPASSIVE. And I get to travel alongside and being in it to witness from the inception until now. And I'm looking forward to more days and years to come with ONPASSIVE, Michael. It's beautiful time that we are experiencing right now.
Absolutely. You're going to appreciate it more, Julie. Like, you know what I mean? Like you're going, but because of going through the process, right? Because of sharing in the experience, right? Of seeing a company going from nothing. Like think about if you were in Apple, right? And you were there at the very beginning. You know what I mean? When there wasn't even a name. There was nothing, right? Or Google or whatever company you want to, bring up. But a giant though, right? That you were there at the very beginning. You're one of the founding people, engaging in conversations, giving back feedback to them as to how things are progressing and what you were able to participate in that journey, and then to see the company, and it's like wow, it's it's like people that got involved in Bitcoins, Julie, in the early stages, like before 2017, like early, right? Um, and they stayed with it, to see the price go from, you know, I know folks who got in when it was like $500, for example, right? And to stay in it and to still holding on to Bitcoins to this day at 70,000 per coin. You know what I mean? To see, and there were ups and downs, right? How many people, it's a scam, it's a this, all this other fancy stuff, right? The price went up to 20,000, dropped all the way down, went up to 60,000, dropped all the way down. You know what I mean? There were ups and downs. There were good, bad, and ugly. All these different SEC coming out, about, holding, Bitcoins, the other coins as well. All these fancy stuff, going after exchanges and only to find out that, various governments around the world are working on their own, digital currency. You understand me? So in other words, it ain't going nowhere, right? The technology is not going anywhere. Blockchain itself is not going anywhere, right? But think about you being that pioneer, you being there in the early stage. Those people who were there in the very beginning that held on to some coins, they're sitting pretty right now, Julie. You know what I mean? People who got Apple shares in the early days, they're sitting pretty right now. You know what I mean? Yeah. And the list goes on and on when we're talking about these giants that's out there in the industry, right? And so I see ONPASSIVE as that giant, right? That, yes, you got in the early days, you went through the good, the bad, the ugly, the ups and downs, all these things, because that's part of a journey. You know what I mean? And so in the end, when you start to reap the rewards from participating, from staying with it, from going through, you know what I mean? All the hard work that you are not doing, by the way, right? But you get to see the result of all the hard work, right? And then you start to reap the rewards. You're going to have a much different view, right? You're going to have a much different feeling about the whole process, about having those rewards. It's going to make a difference in your life, the way you feel about it, because I know you're going to cry, Julie. Right? I know you're gonna it's gonna bring tears to people. Like once they see the totality I'm talking about, right? Once you see the totality of how this Catmo business actually will work, right? When people start to see all that, all the pieces coming together, everything functioning the way it ought to function, Julie, people are going to cry. You understand me? Because of saying, wow, I can remember when there wasn't a name. I can remember when we didn't have an office. I can remember when we didn't have a product. I can remember when we got our first paid product. I can remember when we had 3 free products, and the list goes on and on. I remember the first time we got our ecosystem, and so on and so forth. Yeah, people be able to say, I can remember these things, right? It's a lot. It's when you talk to somebody who's 100 years old, Julie, right? It's a lot different in speaking to that person versus speaking to someone who's 20 years old. How much can a 20-year-old tell you? You know what I mean? But yet that person who's been through some things, you know what I mean? At age 100, there's a lot more experience, a lot more mileage that's gone through there, they can share a few things with you. We who've gone through it with On Passive, right? We'll be able to share. We'll be able to tell our story. You know what I mean? When you got involved, why you got involved. How was your journey? All these things. You know what I mean? Because we'll be able to look back and see, wow, what a transformation. When we start to see the difference that it's making in people's lives around the globe, we're gonna like, wow, you know what I mean? And you are a part of that. That's amazing to me, Julie. It really is. And it's only because there's real value. If there wasn't any real value, you're just not gonna feel that way about it. There's no attachment to it. There's no ownership to it. You know what I mean? There's no proud feeling about it, right? It's like you have children and you guide them, you help them, and you see them turn out, to be stellar citizens. You know what I mean? Doing, great things. They're positive role model. All these things. Because you watch them, you remember like, okay, but I used to change your, diapers, and you know what I mean? And you see them go through that, Julie. That's On Passive, right? From the birth to the little baby, you know what I mean? Childhood, teenager, you get to see that growth. And you're like, wow. Because sometimes I look at my children and I'm like, wow, look at you. I just remember when you were this tall. Now you're 6'3". You know what I mean? Like you look and you wonder, right? When I see them play sports, I look and I'm like, wow, I remember when you're in grade 4, you could barely bounce a ball. You just run up and down the court and and now look at you. You know what I mean? You see these things, and I liken On Passive as a business. I liken it the same way, Julie, to remember that yes, when we had 10,000 in 2018, you know what I mean, and to see the numbers grow, and to see people come in, and to see the growth in people, right? The various webinars people have today, to see their growth, the various videos that people produce, to see their growth. There's so much to talk about when we're saying something is real. It's real. Yeah. We can't say that, enough. We have a real company with real people, right? Real lives that will be impacted because we decided to make that decision to get in and stay with it, right? Stay with it, and to get other people to see the vision. And if it made sense to them, they also came on board, knowing that their lives will be changed for the better. Oh, Julie, I'm telling you, On Passive, it's just it. It's just it.
Wow. Oh, this is amazing. You know, looking back and hearing the things that we're discussing here truly makes my heart so happy, Michael. And that's the reason why I am so confident and so proud to share On Passive with people, right? One last point I want to bring up. How many of us probably already bought a brand new iPhone? Okay. I guess that's probably a brand new phone that has all the gadget on it, and how much money we paid for it. Think about it. Does it have the real values that what you are looking for? Or is it just a tool that you just wanted to have it because it's new? Does it help you having this phone, having this device? Does it help you to impact other people? It may for some other people because they use this as a tool for them to succeed in their business and whatever it is. I'm literally generalizing this, but does it have the true values? Personally, I don't think it is because I don't have all the functions or know all the functions of it. But if I was to buy that phone, I would still need to look for it. Now, imagine that I spend very little money to purchase our product, O Connect. and I get all the gadget, all the functions, but yet I have an opportunity to use it, love it, own it, having that ownership, and be able to make earning out of it. Will I be able to do that with the phone that I spent $2,000 for it? And I may be able to use this phone for another year or 2 years, and then there's more updates coming, upgrades coming, another expense. But with the tools and the services, I mean, look at all the free product. Talking about our O-mail, O-net, O-trim. Those are free for life. And imagine if I was to be able to use that and actually build a career around it, around just those free products. That's real values for some people, for me, and for a lot of people here that would agree with me on that. Real values is what giving people what they are looking for. And that's what ONPASSIVE is doing. It's giving people. And that's a question I asked at the very beginning of our conversation. How can ONPASSIVE add more values to what is currently now in the world? Real values is in ONPASSIVE.
You said it, Julie. And as a result of that, mm-mm-mm. People don't know what's coming, but it's coming.
It's coming. So if you are really enjoy this conversation today and you feel that there's real values in this conversation, I would suggest maybe watch it again and share it with your loved ones. Share it with the people that maybe you don't see that real values. Anything else, Michael?
Well, that sounds pretty good to me. That's a great idea, Julie. You know, people just have to, you know, look for value in everything in life, right? Like it's, I mean, it's not just ONPASSIVE, right? It's just everything in your life. You want to have value. You want to have something that makes sense, right? Okay, why am I doing this? It has to make sense. You know what I mean? We know that, you know, finance is a huge issue for most people, right? Most people are struggling, right? That's just life. It is what it is. You know what I mean? The cost of living is getting more and more expensive. You know, people are struggling out there. Oh, we know that, right? But even though we're struggling, we still have to make wise decisions. You know what I mean? We're not trying to just take our hard earned money and just throw it at something and just hoping that it will stick and it will work out. We still have to make wise decisions. We still have to evaluate. We still have to look and see, you know, does this make sense? You know? And for me, ONPASSIVE makes so much sense, Julie. It just does. If I want to help people, like really help people, I have to be an ONPASSIVE. I just have to. If I really want to help people, I have to. Because think about it. Think about what people's, because it's always about options, right? What choices do people have? What are their options? What can they do, right? You know, working 3, 4 jobs is not the answer. It just isn't. You know what I mean? So you want to be able to find a business that has real value in it and the market is going to see it as such. Because if they see it as such, Julie, they will then exchange their hard-earned money to get that value, right? It's no different than, you know, if I create a website, Julie, and the focus of that mini website is to just capture people's you know, their contact information, right? I have to be able to create some value for them to be willing to give me their name, email address, maybe phone number, whatever I'm looking for, right? I have to give them something. There has to be some value there. There must be something that they want from me that they're willing to give me that, right? So ONPASSIVE is saying, hey, we're putting something together that has real value that people are going to want to exchange, even because even with the free products, Julie, they still have to say, okay, this is my name, this is my email address. Like they still have to, you know, create an account. even though it's free, just have to create an account, right? So they have to see value for them to say, okay, yes, I'm willing to exchange my contact information to get that free account. And when they get that free account, Julie, they now come inside and now they're able to see the product stem. And then they see, okay, is there any value here? Right. And if they look and see, if someone has been using Zoom or Skype or any meeting or go-to webinar, Julie, and they decide to take a look at O Connect, game over.
Yeah.
Because they will see the value. You understand me? Because people love to compare. Well, I'm using this, how does this compare to what I'm currently using? No problem, we get it, right? They will see the value. They'll like, whoa, wait a minute now. You know what I mean? And the company gives them 14 days to say, yeah, try it out on us for 14 days. Because the company is so confident that people are gonna love it, Julie, right?
Absolutely.
Everything about this company has to do with value, right?
Yeah.
It has to do with value. It's built with a different mindset.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's built from the standpoint of, you know what? Let me prove to you that we have value. You understand me? Before you give me your money, right? That's a different mind. There are a lot of companies out there that they take your money and then you realize, oh, wow, my wife, she bought some mangoes the other day, Julie. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm looking forward to my mangoes. Sat down to eat it. I'm like, what the? Right? It was terrible. She can't go bring it back to the store, Julie. You know what I mean? She can't go bring it back and say, here you go. My husband says it's terrible, so give me my money back. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
she had to, so she didn't get a chance to taste it to see if it's, okay, if there's value here. You understand me? No, you have to give the money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that happens a lot. You go out to dinner, Julie, you sit down, nice dinner, $100 a person, whatever, right? And it's like, wait, the meal comes and it's like, this is terrible. The food is no good, right? It happens, even in well-established restaurants. It does happen, okay? Not often, but it does, right? The point is, in ONPASSIVE, people get to try it out for free, Julie. Try it out for free, right? And see if there's value. And if you find value, then you stay with it. It's as simple as that. Absolutely. There is so much value here that millions upon millions will come. They will come. Not maybe, not if, they will come. There is no doubt about that, Julie. And if that's what you have in your hands, then you have something that's going to make you successful. Something that's going to give you whatever your heart's desire. It's as simple as that. ONPASSIVE, the real deal, because it has real value.
Yeah, absolutely. I think of suggestions for everyone, okay? This is something that maybe it's a homework for all of us. But if we can sit down and write down what is of values to us, whatever we are doing, we're talking about ONPASSIVE right now. So if you would sit down and spend about, however time that takes you to write down, what is it in ONPASSIVE? What is it of values to me, right? And then on another columns, what is it that's so valuable that I'm able to share with other people? And when I believe that when you think about all of that, because we can talk about it, we can see all this, but if you actually write it down and take a look at it, you will see it even more real. And at that time, it will hit you, right? At that time, it will hit you even 10 times than what we're talking about. So that's my suggestion. That's your homework for this coming week. Yeah, let's do that. Let's write down what is it that we see that is of values to us. And what is it that is valuable from us coming to the people that we met? Maybe do that for relationships. Maybe do that for the things that we love, right? So until next time, thank you everyone so much for your prayer, well wishes. I'm okay. It's just the weather, Anyway, I'm okay. I'm so blessed and I'm in better place than a lot of people. So I'm grateful. Thank you, Michael, for doing this. I love this. Looking forward to next week. Take
Until
care.
next time.
Yeah.